Saving just $50 per month made me the happiest I've ever been in my life. So right now I'm actually here in Bangkok, Thailand. Beautiful, beautiful country with beautiful people. Check out the skyline in the background there. And this video is obviously different from a lot of my videos. A lot of my videos are pretty structured. I'm sitting down at a desk or going through things on a computer. But while I'm here, something happened back home. And normally it would have been, something that would have ruined my vacation, and it would have put me in a bad mood, and it would have stressed me out and made me unhappy. But the reason none of that happened is because I started saving money, little bit out of each paycheck. And even though that may seem obvious, to this day it boggles my mind that less than a third of Americans have $1,000 saved up. I mean, I think every year there's studies that come out saying, oh, less than 40% or 30% of Americans could cover a $500 emergency. And it just boggles my mind because, I talk to a lot of people and they say, Ken, what's the very first thing I should do to become financially independent? Or, I want to be a successful investor. What are some of the things I should do? And the number one thing I say to everyone, including myself, I practice what I preach, is set up a savings account and build up what I like to call an emergency fund or an oh shit fund. It's imperative, because what happens is if you skip that vital step and you start investing money and you build up a nice portfolio, if you were to lose your job, you would have to kill your money-making portfolio, right? It's an income machine, right? Imagine plugging in a machine, it turns on and it spits out money. That's what investing is, right? That's what your portfolio is. But if you don't have an emergency fund, a cash cushion, it's like a house of cards, right? And so, for example, I'm here in Bangkok on a 12-day vacation. I've been loving every minute of it. I just received an email not 30 minutes ago. That's why I'm doing this video. I received an email from one of my property managers saying, hey, your water line broke on X house, right? X rental property. And it's gonna be this much to fix. The city isn't covering it because it's not a city line, it's on my property. My home insurance isn't covering it because it's not inside the home or near the foundation. It's the water line that broke, and it's gonna be several $1,000s. So they're assessing it, they're sending me pictures and all the information. And I was talking to some of my family back home, and they said, well, what do you think? And I said, I mean, I really don't care. It's covered, right? And not because I've set up some genius investment or because I have some fancy credit card, no. I started saving $50 a month. I made sure to put $25 out of my 2 checks at the time, and I was selling things out of my garage. Anything I could do to build up 6 months worth of expenses, right? That's the standard, the buffer. And now it's just out of clockwork. I save X amount per month. I put in a high interest savings account, which is the link of that savings account is in the description below. And some people ask me, well, why don't you just say the name of the savings account that you use? Well, in a year from now, I might be using a better one. So I don't want to date this video with old information. I'd rather just keep that link live down in the description below. And you know that if you're watching this video the day it gets uploaded, or a year from now or 2 years from now, you know that that link is always fresh with the most current savings account that I'm using, because not all savings accounts are created equally, right? You want to make sure that you put it in a high interest savings account so you can make a little bit on your emergency fund, right? So that's the whole point of this video now. It is probably the most boring thing you can do to secure your financial freedom, but I'll tell you what, it's the most imperative. And don't rely on credit cards, don't rely on having to sell something. It's always nice, and I'll tell you this much, money isn't everything in life, and that's for sure, right? I'll never say that, I'll never agree to it, and money can't solve all things, right? Health and family and emotions and things like that, but I'll tell you this much, money solves a lot of problems in life. And if I didn't have this emergency fund, right, and if I didn't have a lot of cash assets, which I didn't do anything special to do, right, I just set aside a certain amount and stayed disciplined. If I didn't have those cash reserves, I would have ruined the rest of my vacation hearing the news that I have to go home and pay several $1,000s to fix a water line issue that they have to dig up, and they've been sending me all these pictures. That would have ruined my beautiful Thailand vacation. And so I'll tell you this much, little problems come up in life, whether it's a water leak, whether you get laid off from your job, whether your car breaks down, maybe one of your family members has a large doctor bill that comes up out of nowhere. So why throw a wrench into the gears of life, right? Why cut yourself off at the knees simply because you didn't want to save money out of each paycheck? Now, I know I'm going a little bit into a circle, right? I'm repeating myself, but I'll tell you this much. I talk to investors and I talk to people all the time, and very few of them have an emergency fund, and I just don't understand it. And I'm not perfect by any means, but I'll tell you this much. If you're watching videos right now on your phone, whether you're on a break from work, and you're sitting here on YouTube and you want to get in a better place financially, start with that. The two biggest things I tell people, and I'll tell you this much, seriously, this is the most important. It's the most simple, right? I could sit here and say, look, buy my program, do this trading strategy, do this real estate strategy. No, here are the two biggest things. Pay off your high interest debt, right? Credit cards, things like that. Establish an emergency fund. Don't just say, oh, I have X amount left over in my checking account, that's fine. No, you need an entirely separate FDIC insured account for this. Now, again, I know I'm repeating myself a little bit here, but comment in the description, or excuse me, comment down below of what you think, how much you feel you would need in an emergency account to feel good, right? To feel happy. Now, I don't know how many of you have had sleepless nights or worried about money, or laid there in bed at night and thought about all your bills coming up that are due, or what you're gonna have to do, what you're gonna have to finagle in order to pay all your bills. Well, I've been there. That sucks. That sucks. I grew up in a single parent household, right? Money was very, very tight, right? We had used school clothes, the whole 9 yards. Believe me, I could tell you a story for an hour and a half about that. But so the number one thing I wanted to make sure to do was always save a little bit out of my paycheck. Start with 10%, start with $25, $50. That's the title of this video, how saving $50 a month made me the happiest I've ever been. Because again, I'll tell you what, money isn't everything, right? If it were up to, myself and my family and my health, that's most important to me. But I'll tell you this much, money is fun. Money is a tool, use it, use the utility of money. Make it, bring you to Thailand, right? Have fun. Don't get into a lot of credit card debt. Don't buy things you don't need. Do that once you're rich. Once you have disposable income, right now you can, come to Thailand, go buy a bunch of stuff you don't need. It doesn't matter, right? Because you don't have credit card debt and you don't have a bunch of different debt. You have your retirement savings maxed out, right? You have an emergency fund of 6 months or a year, things like that. Build up your assets, right? Build up that concrete foundation and you'll be a lot happier. So with that being said, if you like videos like this, chances are you'll like my other videos. They're a little bit more structured. I just wanted to make this quick video, again, because I had a several $1,000 emergency happen all the way around the world at one of my properties back home. And if I didn't have an emergency fund in place, it would have ruined my night. But I don't really care about it. They're gonna get it fixed, and it'll be almost fixed by the time I even get home. And I'm gonna sign off here and continue to enjoy this beautiful pool. Here, I'll show you. See, look at all that beautiful pool. I just ordered some food and some delicious drinks. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it motivated you a little bit to check on your emergency savings, pay down some of that credit card debt. Now, if you've already have all that stuff done, good on you. Seriously, pat yourself on the back. Find a friend that doesn't have that done, that wants to be in the same place you are, and help them out. Maybe share this video with them. So with that being said, thank you guys so much. Thank you for the growth on my channel. I love building a community around people that want to level up financially, including myself. Never stop believing in yourself. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next video.